On this episode, we discuss Cool as Ice,
live from Portland, Oregon.
Flophouse. I'm Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
I'm Elliot Kalin.
And yes, we are live from the Aladdin Theater in Portland, Oregon. Stop 2 on our Errors tour. Mm-hmm. We still have some juice.
Well, I hope so.
We'll see how it goes. Look, I mean, I have been whining so much. Like it's 4 days.
You do whine a lot. I'm glad you recognize that about
I'm
yourself
not used to doing anything. But yeah, we got up, we flew here, and we're glad to be here to talk about Cool as Ice, starring one Mr. Vanilla Robert Van Winkle Ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
When he wrote the letters accepting the role, it said from the desk of V Ice on the top.
They're like, very ice?
Yeah.
Can you be that?
Now, V.I. Warshawski, was that a Vanilla Ice project as well?
Vanilla Ice Warshawski, exactly, yeah.
Everyone remembers those
did
books
anyone-
in one movie.
So, did anyone in the audience actually watch Cool as Ice?
Wow.
You
guys are
welcome.
lucky,
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Cool as Ice today. I have the lucky job of summarizing it. Let's see how I did. Okay.
How you did? Okay.
Stuart's unstuck in time. He's experiencing all moments at the same time.
Take a look through the portal of time and...
Dan, you forgot Stuart left his watch inside a radiation experiment of some kind. So now he's on Mars at the same time he's here.
So if you've never heard the podcast
Dr.
before...
Stu Hatton.
Dr. Stu Hatton. I'm just sick of all these vanilla ices and caught up in the...
I may go out to space and make some vanilla ices of my own.
So if you've never heard the podcast before and you've been dragged here, we're not going to show the movie. I'm going to paint a word picture
Do that on your
Cool
own
as Ice,
time,
and I'm
please.
going to do it poorly compared to the movie.
If you ever wanted to have vanilla ice, to have Cool as Ice described to you, if you're like,
Buckle up.
I can't, it would be too much work to go to Wikipedia and read a summary.
I'm sure along the way we'll describe vanilla ice. I think it'll happen, yeah.
Okay, so the movie opens with a dance number. That's right.
I'll say this. The first seconds of this movie are fantastic. And not on
electric.
Not on the ironic level that I enjoy much of the movie on.
So this is where the director's really like showing off his music video and Playboy video directing chops.
Before we get into it, so a lot of people talk about
We got into it, Dan.
Janusz Kaminski, Academy Award-winning cinematographer, did the cinematography for Cool as
And
Ice.
he's here tonight.
Bring him out. So the movie looks beautiful on that level, but also the director.
I was really setting Elliot up for a Janusz Kaminski impression.
Yeah, what does he sound?
That.
That sounds. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very worried about
Yeah, was that questionable?
it is me, Janusz Kaminski. I like to make movies at night.
So he's the cinematographer, but the director of the film.
Let's put the shot over there, my children. Yeah.
In addition, like his
I
other.
don't drink wine while I'm working. But at
It's
night,
unprofessional.
after a day of working with Mr. Spielberg, sometimes I need a little bit of something to
I
take
like
the
to
edge off.
unwind with a little wine.
Anyway, I'll be in my coffin until tomorrow's shoot if you need me.
If you want to talk about wine or whatever. The director of this film.
I remember they asked me... They asked me to be the director of photography on Big Night, and I looked at the set, garlic everywhere. No, said I.
The director. His other big film is Inspector Gadget, starring Matthew Broderick. But he has a long career as one, a music video director, 2, a director of television commercials, and 3, a director of Playboy videos, which helps you understand Cool as Ice, which is just a series of striking images that don't relate to one another.
Yeah. Set to music. Dan, for the audience, do you want to describe Playboy videos for anybody? They're basically just music videos where girls take their clothes
Upstairs,
off, right?
we're kind of all agreeing that Dan missed his calling as being a Playboy video director.
Imagine there's
I
sort of
think
like a
maybe-
mechanic's garage where an attractive woman works, and there's like one smudge here, and she's like, I should take my clothes off to deal with this.
Now, you may say to yourself, it's a mechanic's garage. There wouldn't be an old-timey jukebox in the corner. Oh, that's where you're wrong.
So a lot of images. a lot of
Okay,
images.
so the movie opens with
That's what the movie Images is about, right? It's
Yeah.
about the making of a Playboy movie.
movie opens with a dance number that's basically like a whole music video
Yes.
for what? Get With It? No, that's later on. I can't remember. Everybody
They're
Get
all
Loose, I think,
Yeah,
is the song.
they're all the Vanilla Ice songs are essentially the same song. Which
Every-
is just him
It's
saying,
about getting
I'm
loose,
the best.
getting
I'm
with
a great
it.
rapper. I'm such a great rapper. I'm the best. That's essentially every
Yeah.
song.
So this is Everybody Get Loose featuring Naomi Campbell. We got a big star.
Yep.
It will then disappear from the film, but
She
you see
disappears,
her.
yep.
Well,
We get the whole thing.
it's not called Cool as Campbell.
The video is set in a warehouse. There's a lot of dancing, flipping, etc. As the song wraps up, we are introduced to a crew that helped perform these dance numbers. Johnny, played by Vanilla Ice. Should I call him Vanilla Ice or Johnny?
Just call him Vanilla,
Vanilla Ice. Okay. So we have Vanilla Ice and then his posse, which is Sir D, Jazz, and Princess. Don't worry, they don't mention their names that many times.
No,
during
they're
the
not
movie.
even, and they're not really in the movie after a certain
They
point.
hang out. They're
They
cool.
hang out.
They
yeah.
hang, yeah.
They're in a different, more Richard Linklater-ish movie.
Yeah, where they're teaching sort of an elderly mechanic couple how to cut loose.
Yeah, well, they just kind of waste time. They're bored a little bit. Yeah.
So they head out on their motorbikes down like a lonely country highway.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice does some stunt motorcycle driving against Kathy, a young equestrian. He spooks her horse, she gets mad at him, and then they do a little bit of like fight flirting, playful banter.
Yeah, she hits him and he banters. I think she is letting him off easy, considering he could have easily killed her by spooking her
Let's
horse
not-
by driving a motorcycle, jumping over a fence in front of a
Yeah.
horse.
And I don't
Yeah,
think
he jumps a fence, and she gets thrown. I think that
I'm
he
gonna-
gets let off easy.
I'm gonna hazard a guess, he doesn't understand horses very well.
No. Well, he's like, oh, look at that big meat bike.
Well, later on, he describes her specifically as, that chick who drives the horse.
He's a city boy. He's not used to seeing horses.
You know
Whoa,
he's a city.
That's a big rat that's kidnapping that lady.
Well, you can tell he's a city boy because he has bricks shaved into the back of his head.
Yeah. Okay. So we should describe Vanilla Ice because this movie.
If you
is,
didn't grow up when Mr. V Ice was popular,
this movie, the biggest balls this movie has is in presenting a world where Vanilla Ice can walk around and people aren't just like goggle-eyed being, what are you?
what
is
are you
this?
talking about? That's what the movie is.
They treat him the way you would treat like a leather-jacketed punk in the 50s. They don't treat him like a neon cartoon character.
Oh, I disagree. I think the beauty of this film is he goes to this small town and everyone's like, what the fuck is this?
Not enough. Not enough. The fact that
Okay.
anyone in the movie holds a conversation with him without being like, what are you, what?
Holds a conversation, I think, is charitable. Okay. So in the middle of this,
every scene they should be looking at each other going, is this a real person? Like,
Yeah.
did you hire this guy for my birthday? Like,
yeah, they're looking around for the camera, and it's right there next to Janusz Kaminski.
yeah, just pretend we're not here. It's a movie. You're actors. I don't know how you're forgetting this.
So
Come on, the sun's coming up in minutes. We got to get this shot.
No, I don't understand. Are you concerned with, magic hour, or are you concerned with the fact that you're a vampire?
Do I
Are
have
you
to choose? It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
There was a space on the Venn diagram that says hurry up is right here.
Yeah. So while they're driving through like a small town USA suburban town, Jazz's bike breaks down in the middle of the street. Everybody looks at them. They're like, what's going on with these guys?
Classic
Luckily,
Jazz.
Yep, they definitely don't pull
No,
over.
they just hang out in the middle of the street.
Luckily, through happenstance, they find local mechanics, Roscoe and May, who live in a very quirky Pee-wee's Playhouse type.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Oversized furniture and salt shakers and
The
whatnot.
roof is a giant map of the world, right?
Love
yeah.
it. Perfect. Okay.
They have globes on, like impaled along the edge of the yard as if to warn other globes from coming to their house.
planets.
And this is all stuff that, again, striking images that'll just like cut to like, oh, let's look at this for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, here's an interesting thing.
Yeah, sure.
It has nothing to do with the story, but it's probably better than whatever we had cooked up.
At a certain level, you could cut together a scene from Cool as Ice and a scene from what's the David Byrne movie, True Stories, and
Absolutely.
and you wouldn't be able to tell that much of a difference. Yeah.
So while they're waiting around for the bike to get fixed, they see Kathy riding along with her preppy boyfriend, Nick.
Not on a horse, in a car.
No, they're riding around in a sports car.
like a metal horse.
And they like, very similar actually.
Yeah.
It's very important, the dichotomy of this movie. He has a car, and Vanilla Ice drives a motorcycle.
Yes.
And she drives a horse.
And she drives a horse.
Drives a horse.
She's the perfect Cronenbergian melding of organics and machine.
Turns out Kathy lives just down the street from Roscoe's house, which is like, wouldn't the neighborhood committee be like, you can't put fucking globes on?
He was there first before the yuppies
Yeah,
moved in. They
that
can't
makes
get
sense.
rid of him. Try as they do.
Okay. So Vanilla Ice runs over and they engage in a little bit of flirty banter. Meanwhile, he distracts her and steals her organizer for some reason. Cool guy behavior.
Hero of the movie.
Meanwhile, inside the house, we get this like a family life sequence that's sped up super fast so that it's kind of terrifying.
It is, again, it's like they're not, I guess maybe there's a satirical edge to it, and I don't know if they're intending it or not. This kind of like sped up world where her younger brother watches TV and kind
Tommy.
of passes out. Yeah, like it's not bad stuff. You know?
No, but it does definitely feels like
A music
this is
video.
a music video.
Yeah, it does, yeah. I mean, this is essentially Vanilla Ice's version of Moonwalker, the Michael Jackson movie that's just videos put together.
Except for I really wish there was a point at which he turned into claymation.
Yeah, or a giant robot at the end.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That was a documentary,
That doesn't
too. That's the
happen,
weird thing.
though. Yeah. So the family gathers around the TV and they watch a segment on the news about how Kathy's kind of like a scholar athlete. And her dad, Gordon Winslow, is there
Played
as
by
well.
who?
Played by Michael Gross.
He's
TV's
played-
Family Ties dad and everyone's favorite Trimmers hunter.
Here's the thing, though. Watch the movie and try and tell yourself Michael Gross is doing an impression of James Urbaniak. He is. Somehow. His voice sounds just like him. His mannerisms are a lot like him.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you. One person in the audience
Affirmation.
agrees. That's all I need. Jesus needed 12 followers. I only need one.
So this news story has a little bit of reach because meanwhile we see in a bar a couple of mobsters are watching the same story.
The local news about this scholar.
Yeah. They on the news they recognize her dad as an old informant, and we just to clarify things, Gordon Winslow, Michael Gross, is actually Jimmy Hackett, a former cop who turned evidence against his partners.
He had a dirty partner, and he turned evidence against him and his
and his gang,
got put into witness protection.
Witness
This
protection.
gets cleared up later.
much later.
But we'll cover it now.
Well, we were covering it now to make it clear, but it's weird to me in the context of the movie that Michael Gross takes, he knows that he's in danger.
Yes.
And he takes so long to explain to his family
Yes.
why, when the movie kind of implies maybe maybe he has some reason why he's ashamed of it. Whereas if I was in this situation, I'd be like, no, I did the right thing. They're criminals now after me. I'm going to tell you everything immediately.
Dan, if you had been in this situation, you would have done the right thing and not put your goddamn face on television.
Yeah. That's true.
I guess he's just so, and it makes more sense than when you're watching it. He's kind of trying to half shield his face with his hand.
I'm so proud of my daughter.
I'm so proud of my dog. Just the sun's in my eyes. But
Okay.
he is proud of his. I mean, I understand that. I'm so proud of my kids. If they got to be on TV, I'd be like, yeah, send some hitmen after me. I don't care. Don't really do that.
Meanwhile, over at Roscoe's house,
Good save.
so it turns out that Roscoe has completely deconstructed Jazz's bike. Uh-oh.
They're gonna have to
It's going to
stay a
take at
while.
least 24 hours to fix.
It's
Okay.
this is sort of a play on a motorcycle. A motorcycle two ways.
But you need all the smears of sauce around it.
Of course you do. That's the best part. That's one of many ticking clocks. We'll get to others. Meanwhile, Johnny goes to their house, and he's going to talk to Kathy again. He bumps into the mobsters who have already shown up, and he's talking to them. They're like staking out the house.
They are sitting on their car just within plain view of the front door of the house.
Yeah.
But this is not their intimidation moment because they come back later and
They come back later.
And they're like, hey, it's us. It's like, what were you doing just outside the house?
Well, they were there so Johnny could talk to them, which would lead Michael Gross to, of course, thinking that they're in cahoots.
That's
to assume these two gangsters are working with, again, an alien cartoon.
This flat top man with a down by law jacket
And multiple different outfits, even though he had no luggage on that motorcycle. Did he ball up his clothes and stuff them in the exhaust pipe?
He wears like
Here's a
4 different
question.
hats.
what gig do you think that they were going to that took them through this zone?
Well, wherever they're going to freak out some squares.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I guess they were on their way to the Nassau Coliseum.
The mobsters show up and they like threaten Michael Gross. They say, you got to give us $500,000 in damages, I guess. And you have 24 hours
He's like
to do it.
$500,000 worth of DVDs of damages. How'll I get them in time?
I mean, just wait alone is going to be a challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
eBay.
Meanwhile, the kids all go to a party at the Sugar Shack. That's a local venue.
This is the nerdiest venue they could possibly go to.
It's pretty cool. There's a local band that is not doing very well.
Yeah.
But
I kind of enjoyed their weird, like, funk punk take on this. Like, they sounded like a worse version of the Minutemen, kind of.
Yeah. It was almost because they're doing, it's what, a Sly Stone song?
Yeah.
And it feels like almost like a Neil Hamburger version of a Sly Stone song.
yeah.
Yes.
Vanilla Ice and his crew show up and they commandeer the microphones and they perform their song, The People's Choice.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd
And everyone's like, what?
well, the crowd is initially like cold to it, but they warm up.
Yeah, they're like, this is the new sound they've been looking for.
Yeah. The honeyed words of Vanilla Ice.
Well, and Vanilla Ice like pulls Kathy in and they start to dance and Nick's like, I don't know if I like this.
Don't approve. Oh.
And she gives him a countdown. She's like, look, you got 24 hours to return my organizer. I'm like, oh man, I'm counting my fucking watch. She then gets in a fight with her boyfriend who's like, why are you dancing with that maniac? And he's drunk and he's frankly being an asshole, right, Dan? Or Dan's like, oh, he was being reasonable.
That's Dan.
No.
Okay. Let's see how Dan gets.
Whenever I have
defends this guy.
something to say, they assume that I'm going to... No, this is an interesting tactic.
Dan's like, Barbie got too many Oscar nominations.
No. I do not.
You said it, dude.
No, I did not.
Stuart told me you said it.
I guess there's two sources now, I
Yeah.
guess.
People are saying that you said it, Dan.
No, this movie is playing a card that I think is funny that a lot of movies play where they're like they make it a viable choice that Vanilla Ice is the romantic lead for this woman by making the other choice a dick, and clearly these are the only two men available.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess between these two, this guy, he's a goober, but he seems nice.
Well, after he steals her organizer, he keeps calling her college girl in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah.
That's Vanilla Ice, not her
Everything
boyfriend.
he says is like so smugly delivered. And the script for it, I'm like, did they improvise this whole thing and Vanilla Ice provided his own? Like, 'cause he seems so pleased with himself, but everything is like.
I mean, his line delivery is like the little girl from The Fall. It's like, does he know he's in a movie?
Yeah. He thinks he's actually
Yeah,
romancing Kathy. Yeah.
They're paying him with candy.
But it is true that every line, he seems convinced that he is the greatest performer in the history of the world.
So she gets
But
in
that
a big...
works for his character. His character is a vain asshole.
It's perfect. So she gets in a fight with her boyfriend, storms off. The mobsters follow her on the road, and then luckily Vanilla Ice shows up and saves her on his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
But when he drops her off at home, her dad yells at her. He's like, do you know this guy? And she's like, I just met him. And he's like, you shouldn't date him. And she gets mad at him. I'm like, no, your dad's kind of right. He's...
So it's like, look at this guy. Look at him.
I have to admit, the first time, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, the first time I saw the movie Cool as Ice, I may have been a little stoned, and I didn't like really
Go,
like
you covered yourself. I can't arrest you now.
it didn't.
Elliot talks into his lapel. We don't got what we need. Forget it. Call it off.
Stand down, stand down.
Stand down.
Sniper, stand down.
It didn't
Don't
really.
take the shot. Actually, you know what? Go for it.
Wow, my friend for so many years.
It was all a long
Yeah,
con,
the
Dan.
deep cover.
It didn't say like the farce plotting of this didn't sink into me, like how much they're like misunderstanding there was going on. Where it's like, oh, Michael Gross saw Vanilla Ice with these.
Literally saw him asking directions from the mobsters.
Right, and now
We
he's like,
couldn't
oh,
hear
this,
that.
he must be friends with the mobster. Because like, in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, you know, of course, Michael Gross would be like, don't date this guy.
Well, that the movie has to give him a plot reason to say, don't
Yeah.
date this weird stranger who almost killed you with his motorcycle when you were riding a horse.
Okay, so after dropping her off, Vanilla Ice goes back to the Sugar Shack to pick up his crew, who are nowhere to be found, but it doesn't matter. Outside, Nick and his buddies are like beating up Sir D, one of his crew's bikes, and then Vanilla Ice beats them all up easily.
Single-handedly.
Single-handedly, barely breaks a sweat. It's
Yeah.
incredible, and then he leaves. Next morning,
Like a regular vanilla reacher.
guys, next morning,
Oh, I guess this is important. Stuart
Standing up.
stood up.
Wow.
possibly my favorite moment of the movie.
Okay.
Kathy is awoken in her bed. In her home
In her home. Her private residence.
with an ice cube that's being first dripped into her mouth and then pushed between her lips. That ice cube held by, of course, Vanilla Ice.
Now, do you think he created that cube with his ice powers?
Yes. That's to be assumed.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
nothing in the movie that says otherwise.
Yeah.
Professor Xavier taught him to harness his mutant capabilities.
And then kicked him out of the school.
Yeah.
You're giving mutants a bad name.
So Vanilla, she
Everyone else
awakes.
thinks you're weird.
Everyone thinks you're weird, and we have a blue
And we have a
furry
lot
gorilla
of
man.
weirdos here. Have you seen us?
We are weird. We're weird.
Now,
Anyway, class of 2000 whatever, go on and be weird in the real world. That was the speech?
I do like the idea that Professor X is like, just fucking go out there and go crazy.
Look, I was
Live
wrong.
your fucking life, man.
I was wrong. Apocalypse was right. Let's go show those flat scans with what it's like when a mutant's around.
We are Homo superior. Fuck it, man.
And they're like, I think Professor Xavier is having a midlife crisis.
He really souped up his wheelchair.
Yeah, got
mean,
everybody. I bought a Corvette wheelchair, but then I went into therapy. You
I
shouldn't
feel
have
like
done those things.
the robes and outfits he wears when he goes into outer space to hang out with his space girlfriend is
Lilandra?
like a super midlife crisis move.
Every man reaches a point in midlife when they say goodbye to their old life and they go into Shi'ar space with their alien feather-haired girlfriend because she's half bird,
Yeah.
leaving
Don't
behind
I know it.
leaving behind the school they run.
Okay. So Kathy wakes up with this strange man in her bed.
She's known him for
She's
a day.
cool with it, though.
She's almost cool as ice with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They banter a little bit. They like run around the bedroom playfully. From another perspective, it might be terrifying. They end up going on a day date where they ride around on his motorcycle.
This is where it gets the most Playboy video-esque.
Yeah.
As they like frolic in fields of wheat.
And in a half-finished house.
Yeah, well, they
Construction site.
Yeah, they visit this construction site. They horse around. They ride a horse. They ride a bike around in the desert. They play around in the field.
This is all one day, I guess.
Yeah, it's all
One
one
day
day.
they pose.
Of
Is-
frolicking. A
is
day
it-
full of frolicking.
Is it the weekend? Is she's not in school anymore? Is that time has no meaning in
It doesn't
Cool as
matter.
Ice?
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. This is cool as ice, baby.
They show up. He drops her off home
Vanilla
late.
shows up. I know you got the day off from school for Yom Kippur. Let's go out to the desert.
Wow. Johnny, I didn't expect you to know that.
I understand the calendar.
I don't want to brag.
I didn't say, but I'm supposed to be atoning today, Johnny. Well, we're not going to eat. We're just going to frolic around an unbuilt house. In a way, that unbuilt house represents the unfinished world that we're tasked with repairing. Oh, Reb Ice, you're so wise.
Yeah.
As the good book says.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Get with the hero, not with the zero. Yeah. That's in Levita Ice.
Yeah.
Stuart, if you don't interrupt me, I'm just going to be doing more Vanilla Ice as a rabbi jokes.
Yeah, so Vanilla Ice drops Kathy off at home, or Kat as he calls her, drops her off at home, and her dad, Michael Gross, comes out and he confronts him. You know, they have a big fight. After Vanilla Ice leaves, he comes clean with Kathy, explains the whole situation, the witness protection, etc. He urges her to break up with Vanilla Ice, which is not a surprise, but surprisingly, she agrees with him. She decides to do it. She breaks up with him.
I mean, she does. She probably does see the wisdom in like, oh, there are people trying to kill the family, maybe. And I just met this guy yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, you got to imagine she envisioned herself at the altar, and she's like, "Am I really potentially going to marry Vanilla Ice?"
Yeah.
Mrs.
You know, I mean, based on
This is
all his
Kathy
outfits, his tuxedo for the wedding is going to be incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be great.
Those tails are going to be so long.
Yeah. She's gonna wear like a bright orange leopard print jacket. Yeah.
Man,
I'm just describing Stuart's wardrobe now.
What I would not
Yeah,
get.
for the listener at home, Stuart has a terry cloth, fully terry
All
cloth
terry
outfit,
cloth,
with a cheetah
It doubles
print
as
on
a
the top.
towel. Okay, so Kathy breaks up with Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice rides off on his motorcycle angrily. He sits and stares off into the middle distance. He goes, hangs out in Roscoe's house on a giant couch. Tommy, her younger brother, shows up with a new haircut that looks nothing like his.
He did
Sorry,
it-
Tommy.
I mean, he did it himself. He said, "I did it myself. How's it look?" And Vanilla Ice was like, "Great."
Sorry, honey.
I gotta say, as much as a goober as Mr. V Ice comes across in this movie, like he is pretty like sweet with this kid.
Yeah,
like,
he's
there's,
very
like-
good with this.
there's,
Well,
like, a
He's a good
charming
dude.
kinda-
He's the hero of the movie.
He is the hero. I think
I know. It is written to, burnish him a little.
Yeah, it is a radical move for the hero of the movie to be nice to a child.
I know. There's some charm here. There's some charm.
But also, it's hard not to be nice to a kid who so clearly idolizes you. I mean,
Yeah.
me and my boys, they don't feel that way about me, but But I'm
What were
sure.
you
But I'm sure if they ever met Freddie Freeman, they would feel that way.
Are
Yeah.
you saying about them like liking to draw you farting?
Let's not get into it. They were doing chalk drawings in the backyard on the pavement, and they drew a picture of my wife holding a guitar, and they're like, "You're a rock star, mommy," and they drew a picture of me sitting on the toilet with farts coming out.
It's a different kind of love.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I think there's a deleted scene where the little kid Tommy expressly does not do that.
Yeah.
I could draw this, but I won't.
So he gives Tommy a motorcycle
It
ride.
wouldn't be
It's
respectful
great.
to Mr. Ice.
Yeah. While they're riding around, they see Nick, the spurned lover, now beaten up fellow, and he sees them, which is important because it's another misunderstanding. The mobsters, after Tommy's dropped
It's like
off,
a clockwork French farce. Is this
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice or French Vanilla Ice?
get the fuck out of here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
This
Full
is my-
heel turn.
Heel turn,
tell.
heel turn. You don't deserve that joke.
What? What happened?
Oh, man.
Zone out for a moment, and Elliot's yelling at the audience.
So,
They love that joke on the East Coast.
Wow.
yeah.
When I go tell that joke in Miami, they're gonna love it. Or Charleston.
So the mobsters break in and kidnap.
Technically the East Coast, Dan. Doesn't have to be the Northeast to be an Eastern
You're
Coast.
right. I was about to argue with you.
If I don't talk about the movie, Elliot's just gonna keep naming American cities.
True.
In Baltimore, they like that joke.
To be fair, half of our podcast is just naming things.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
so the mobsters break in and they kidnap Tommy. An important point on the screen: Tecmo Bowl, the video game.
Yeah, that's earlier.
It's a great game. You always play the 49ers.
Earlier, he's playing. Is it Mario Brothers 3? I can only tell from the music. And
Yeah.
hearing that music, it was like, and I hate to bring up a French thing because I know you guys hate French stuff, but it was like Proust biting into that Madeleine, just hearing that little bit of Mario Brothers 3 music just took me back.
Sure, yeah.
Give me the beat, boy. I want to get lost in your Mario Brothers 3 soundtrack.
Okay. We need to stop clapping because
It's only encouraging me.
What?
because Jazz's bike is finished. It's time for the crew to move on.
All things must end. Yeah. Oh.
But his friends are very sensitive. They're like, you
They're very
gotta
sensitive,
gotta hammer out this problem with Kathy before
Yeah,
you go.
you won't be the same. So Vanilla Ice goes to say goodbye. However, he accidentally delivers a ransom tape in the process.
This
It
is-
happens, folks.
This is the dumbest. He picks up this envelope. He has a confrontation with the dad at the door, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, this is for you." He doesn't say this was on your doorstep. He says this is for you.
Okay, so at this point, everybody but Kathy thinks Vanilla Ice is in on it. Nick shows up and he's like, "Yo, I saw him driving around with Tommy." Everybody thinks.
Damning.
Yeah. Kathy, however, is like, "No, I'm going to give him one more chance."
He's a good man.
She goes over to Roscoe's house. She confronts Vanilla Ice, and in the process plays him the ransom tape, which is an audio tape, which is great because that's Vanilla Ice's natural medium.
That's what it is, yeah. He's a musician. He's got those musician's ears.
Yep. Yep.
And in the process of listening to the tape, he hears somewhere in the distance the sound of that construction site that they horsed around at. The rhythmic pounding of that horrible heart. Okay, so using that knowledge, they go to the construction site. They bust into the hideout of the bad guys. They beat the shit out of them very easily.
Easily.
They save Tommy. They show back up at Roscoe's driving the mobster's car with the mobsters tied to the hood.
Now, is it more unbelievable that Vanilla Ice is a one-man Army Corps, or that Vanilla Ice is in any situation without people being like, "What are you?"
So the mobsters are
I
tied
guess I'll
up.
leave that up to the listeners.
Yeah.
Dan and Stuart have no answers.
No, the end is in sight.
Yeah, we're
I
so
can't
close.
stop
That's true.
So close.
Yeah, we're almost done with the ice.
Michael Gross walks up. He's like, "I'm so sorry.
damn
Vanilla
it, I
Ice.
respect you."
God damn it, I respect you.
You
I
bastard.
don't like your methods."
Take my daughter right now.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny how, like, the cops are there because, you know, like, they've been called because of the kidnapping. They drive up with the thing, and then, like, immediately Michael Gross is like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he's like, "Don't stay out too late."
He's like, "If
what?
you guys are gonna do it, you gotta do it normal, not weird style."
It's like, is no one gonna take anyone's, you know, statements about the crime that was committed? It's more like, you're like, yeah, you can
that's-
go out and do my daughter. Like,
Yeah, that's the only plot hole. That's the only goof. They don't take any statements, folks. Okay, so Kathy and Johnny, you know, they make up. They're like, "You know what? In this crazy world, we're just two young lovers." Nick shows up and he's like, "What are you guys doing? Or why are you breaking up with me?" Of course, they make fun of him. They ramp off the hood of his car.
well, he also
Slow
says,
motion.
Yeah, they do that.
"This is the last you'll see of me and my car." Proving again, he identifies mostly with his car.
Yeah.
He's a car person versus Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Who's a
And his
bike person.
his deviant two-wheeled ways.
He's not a horse person. He's
Two
not
wheels
a
good,
bike
four wheels
person.
bad.
That's
And then
what
as the
Car
slow
Farm
motion,
taught us.
Yeah, from George Carwell. Yeah, Stuart, let's finish it, shall we?
Sorry.
as the
Actually, George Carwell sounds like George Orwell and George Carlin put together. These are 7 words Big Brother will not allow us to say on the business screen.
Thank you for bringing it home, Elliot.
So, Stuart, cool as ice?
As the slow motion motorcycle touches down, we cut to the Get With It video club performance where Vanilla Ice plays an entire song again.
Yeah.
He shows off his dance moves. It's incredible. And notedly, Kathy is there dancing with him forever.
Yeah, and I guess
That is the end. That is cool as ice. What a movie.
What a movie. There's one thing, Stuart, you did an impeccable job. That was a fantastic summarizing job. There's one thing I just want to call attention to, which is when earlier Kathy has given Ice a ring, and when she's like, I can't see you, he sneaks back into her room and drops the ring into her fish bowl. And when she comes back home, the first thing she does is check that fish bowl as if she expects there to be mail in it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, a message.
Yeah, she checks it like I check my Instagram DMs.
Yeah.
Did these fish poop this ring?
Oh, wow, my fish made me a ring.
So nice of them. I guess I'll marry my fish.
These are magic fish. If I cut them open, there must be many rings inside. No, Kathy,
Tragic.
no.
So, of course, this is the part where we make our final judgments about Cool as Ice.
What are those fucking categories, Dan?
Wow. Okay, Agro Stew there. Is this a fucking good bad movie? A fucking bad movie?
I don't like it when you do it.
Or a goddamn movie you kind of like? This is a primo good bad movie. A lot of I would make the argument that the best bad movies are not totally bad. They have qualities that are actively enjoyable, and they're just juxtaposed with really weird stuff.
But they're being used at cross purposes.
And I would like to further a theory that I have. This is Dan's movie theory. I don't have a better.
Often theories are named after people's last names, but you can call it Dan's movie theory, sure.
The McCoy theory of.
Yes, my name is Fermat Jones. Yeah. Is this my last theorem?
There are certain bad movies that are indistinguishable from a great comedy with the same premise. Because this movie is essentially like, Vanilla Ice's movie is essentially Zoolander. In that he's like a narcissist swanning about, making smirky looks, thinking he's like the coolest fucking thing.
Dresses crazy.
And everyone in the movie is like, what is going on with this dude? But he wears them down with his innate goofy goodness.
But you're right, it's like if the point of Zoolander was that Zoolander is the coolest man in the world. Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I think it's good. Bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not good bad. I'm gonna say this is a movie I kind of like. I will say, The Iceman Cometh.
Put it on the Criterion re-release.
What if that's what if that was what the play was about?
Me, Gene Shalit.
We're all here at the bar talking about our wasted dreams and wasted lives, and then Vanilla Ice walks in and goes, "What up, everyone? Get with the hero."
Yep.
No,
I mean, it's so much fun. I think it's very stylish, like the Iceman himself. I mean, it's so silly, and it has this there's a definite charm to the movie. It's great. Thumbs up.
I am right in the middle in that objectively, it's a good bad movie. Subjectively, I do kind of like it because it is. At many points in the movie, I am not laughing at it. I am delighting in it. And at a certain point, I was like, if David Lynch made this movie,
it wouldn't be any different.
And was forced to cast Vanilla Ice, same movie.
And it's 90 minutes long.
Oh,
beautiful.
So the perfect length for anything. Well, not for like strangling. That would be too long. 90 minutes is too long for that.
Thank you for clarifying, because I was gonna strangle you for 90 minutes.
No, we're like a bowel movement.
You're gonna use a loophole.
Yeah.
A loophole of strangling wire.
No, but 90 minutes is such a perfect length for a movie. It's just like there's certain times when you're like, they're not making the movie they think they're making. They're making a better movie than they think they're making. Oh.
Yeah, so I guess that's the verdict for all time. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Give that movie all the Oscars.
I'm Emily Fleming.
And I'm Jordan Morris.
We're real comedy writers.
And real friends.
And real fucking cheapskates.
We say, why subscribe to expensive streaming services when you could stream tons of insane movies online for free?
As long as you're fine with 25 randomly inserted super loud car insurance commercials.
On our new podcast, Free with Ads, we review streaming movies from the darkest corner of the internet's bargain bin.
From the good to the weird to the holy shit, look at Jean-Claude Van Damme's big old butt.
Free with Ads, a free podcast about free movies that's worth the price of admission.
Every Tuesday on MaximumFun.org or your favorite pod spot.
Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for coming to our service.
Yes.
We are ready to heal you. We are Ross and Carrie. We are faith healers. Yes, you there.
Yes, sir. You have a spirit of...
Not listening to enough podcasts.
We have the solution for that.
Oh, we can cure you.
You should listen to Oh No, Ross and Carrie. Hallelujah. It's on Maximum Fun.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes, you there. Gladys.
A spirit of boredom?
Oh my goodness, we have the solution for you. It is to listen to the podcast.
Oh no, Ross and Carrie.
The Flophouse is sponsored in part by Babbel, the best way to learn a language, immersion. Living where the language is spoken and using it every day. But if that's not in the cards this year, you can still learn a language the second best way, and that is with Babbel. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts even.
Not egg experts. Not experts. Not egg
experts.
experts, yeah.
No, egg experts are useful for omelet advisories and other things, but for Babbel, experts are probably the thing you want to help you to start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations with tips and tools that are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. And you know what? Look, I did normal language stuff all through high school and college, and it flew out of my head the moment I stopped using it. Whereas if you use Babbel, it's the sort of thing that just reinforces the language. It helps you learn it. It helps you retain it. It helps you use it in a way that you would use it in real life. It is a wonderful service that has over 16 million subscriptions sold. Plus, all of Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. Here's a special limited-time deal for our listeners. Right now, get 50% off a one-time payment for a lifetime Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/flop.
We also have some Flophouse stuff from the Flophouse that we want to tell you about. I mentioned at the top of the show that we have some live shows coming up. March 31st, we're going to be in Brooklyn at the Bell House. It's an Easter Flophouse special. That's right. We're going to be at the Bell House for a show at 7:30 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, it's the movie equivalent of the Garbage Pail Kids. I don't know how else to say it. So
it's a magical time.
Yeah. So that's March 31st at the Bell House in Brooklyn. You're going to love it. And then a little less than 2 months later, on May 24th in Oxford, England, we're going to be doing 2 shows in one night as part of the Saint Audio Podcast Festival at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, I guess. We're going to be doing The Avengers, not the Marvel The Avengers, but the Hollywood remake of the British television show The Avengers. And at 9 p.m., we're going to do Spice World. That's right, Spice World. As of yet, the only Spice Girls movie, but I'm holding out hope. So that's March 31st in Brooklyn and May 24th in Oxford, England. Plenty of time for you to get between those 2 locations and see all those shows. For tickets and more information, go to flophousepodcast.com/events.
Also, I just want to mention that the Max Fun Drive is going to come up real soon. Just a little preview of the sort of bonus content we have in store for this year. The Spawn LA live show is going to be our sort of day one Flophouse bonus content, but also we're planning on doing a series, a sort of, we're going to explore a filmography, a sort of a blech check, if you will, of Graydon Clark. We're going to talk about joysticks. We're going to talk about the Forbidden Dance. Something from later in his filmography, probably. It's going to be a whole series
not his full filmography, but we're going to do 3 movies of a man who is known for some dreck. It's going to be a lot of fun. Probably Stuart is going to do some role-playing game stuff, some more flop tales. I can't commit to that for him, but he's been talking about it. So I think that this year there's going to be a lot of extra Flophouse bonus content on the Max Fun feed. So just be prepared for that. I hope that you will consider becoming a member of the network. But we're going to head back, unless, Elliot, do you have anything before we move back into the show proper?
I have one thing I wanted to mention. I mean, yes, I should mention my series Hercules from Dynamite Comics is coming out in April. And yes, that I'm doing another podcast, the 99% Invisible Breakdown, the Power Broker with Roman Mars in the 99% Invisible main feed. It's an amazing podcast series, if I do say so myself, at about a really amazing book, The Power Broker. But I also want to mention that a very good friend of mine, a former NYU classmate and still current friend, Sasha Kenton, is crowdfunding her original television pilot script to produce it as a short. I would love to drum up some support for her. It's called I Meow Back, and this is the description she has written for me. The pilot, I Meow Back, written by Sasha Kenton, follows Zip, a teen girl, as she returns to high school after becoming disabled. Now she redefines her relationship with her former best friend. Will they fight? Or will they find their way to becoming ... something more, ? With the onset of the COVID epidemic, disabled people now make up 20% of the population. There's a built-in audience ready to see positive representation on TV, and this pilot was a semifinalist in a few different festivals, and she's trying to raise not a large amount of money. She's trying to raise $4,000 as her goal. As I'm recording this, she's about 25% of the way there. So if you're interested in supporting a very talented, independent voice in media from an underserved community, someone who deserves a chance to get their material out there, please do my friend a favor and do me a favor. Go to imeowbackfilm.com. That's the letter I, like in the word I, like myself. I meow, like a cow says. I meow like a cat says. Cows don't say meow, they say moo. I meowbackfilm.com. And please support her if you will. That would be great. I mean, save some money for the Max Fun Drive, but see if you can help her out.
Okay, so what do we do next on this podcast, Dan?
Well, now we are freed from the prison of this table. We'll stand up.
We did it.
What? We've got legs.
The curse has been broken.
And we'll,
I can dance again. I'm not going to, but I could.
If people have questions to ask, I think there will be a microphone that will appear as if by magic. There it is.
Right there. It's like the movie There Will Be Blood if it was a microphone instead of blood.
It's like the movie Magic if it was a microphone instead of a killer dummy?
If there was any magic in that movie? I think I might have talked about this on the podcast before. I heard a rumor once that the movie Magic, instead of starring Anthony Hopkins, was originally supposed to star Gene Wilder. 1,000 times better movie.
Yeah. Agreed. So
Anyway.
what are we going to do about it? Go back in time?
Let's go back in time and make that happen.
Got to go back in time.
Yes.
Okay.
First question.
Please approach the microphone. I don't know.
Stand in front of the table.
Recently, I watched the movie Chameleon Street.
Great
about
movie.
30-some, yeah. And immediately I wanted everybody to see this thing that it seems like nobody had ever seen. What's the last thing in the last year or two that you saw that was like, this is the thing, nobody's seen it, I want everybody to see it?
I don't know about everybody seeing it. I don't know whether this is on an episode that just came out or it hasn't come out yet, but I recently saw this movie, Dr. Caligari, which...
Not the Cabin of Dr. Caligari.
No, it's from...
Don't let him fool you.
This one is from the early 80s. It is from the director of Cafe Flesh, the cult pornographic film.
You've eaten there.
And it feels like if, an underground art troupe had the set designer for Pee-wee's Playhouse and made a semi-erotic, semi-just weird remake of The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. It's interesting. I mean, again, not for everyone, but I'm saying that
Take your children to Dr. Caligari, says Dan McCoy.
Don't.
I feel like the last time I saw a movie that I was like, wow, how come more people haven't seen it was like Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Have you ever seen that one?
I hear
It's a solid
about
little
it.
slasher. It's, it's gross, it's weird, but it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Thumbs up, bring the kids.
I think it's two movies that I've recommended on the podcast before. There's a Brazilian movie called Property that I don't know when it's coming out, but I got to see it, and it's a really cool, really good thriller with a social edge to it. But also, there's a little Czech New Wave movie.
God damn it.
It's called Larks on a String. It's directed by Yuri Menzel, who made Closely Watched Trains, and it's beautiful. It's just I found it to be such a moving experience to watch it as a movie. And then I guess I watched some dumb thing for this podcast, and it erased that movie from my mind for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, thanks. Name's Rob. First time. And my question is, if, let's say some madman was making a Flophouse-themed Street Fighter II knockoff, which repeating bit would you include in the game, and what character would they rip off?
Yeah,
What character?
somebody's dick's gonna have to get ripped off. Feels like a layup for me.
Which Street Fighter character sings for a long time? Blanca?
Kinda. I don't know. Like, there's a character named Dan that's a bit of a joke in the Street Fighter series.
What?
This is the first you're hearing of this? He's got a ponytail. Have you ever had a ponytail?
I've never had a ponytail.
Yeah, we gotta change that.
Yeah, that
Maybe
does
for
have
the
to
game.
change, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go out and get one. Extensions, anybody?
The next morning, he shows up in our rooms, wakes us up. He's cut off a pony's tail. No, Dan, no.
This is what you wanted, right?
No. What have we done?
Did we answer the question?
I think it's probably.
Well enough.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you.
Approval.
Thank you so much for recommending Bratz.
Yes. You're welcome.
Not a sentence I hear a lot.
Thanks to you, my wife and I have enjoyed Bratz and Cats and that weird one with the
Rats. And
the
mats.
teacher. Anyway, in terms of your like Mount Rushmore of movies you've seen and then just watched a bunch, at some point Dan said, I think Bratz is the movie I've seen the most. Is there one that's on the top right now of sort of, this movie in the style of Bratz?
You mean like a movie
Like a
good movie or
like a bad movie that
Yeah,
we've seen.
a
the
movie
most.
you were exposed to through the podcast that's now transcended.
Oh.
I mean,
podcast.
yeah, like Rats and Cats have to be close.
Yeah,
to
they're
the
on
top
there.
Of,
Rats and Cats. Oh, what a crossover that would be.
Branson Cats. There's
Double F, Fateful Findings, gonna be on there, yeah.
We're actually, Dan and I are about to host a movie that we're about to do host a screening in Brooklyn of a movie called Don't Tell Her It's Me, starring Steve Gutenberg.
You may know it as The Boyfriend School.
You could know it as that, and I just love it so much. Steve Gutenberg, of course, plays a man playing Lobo Marunga, a New Zealand biker, who's a romance novel.
You really glossed over. Steve Gutenberg plays a man playing Lobo Marunga, as we all know.
As if Lobo Marunga is a famous character.
It's great. I love it.
He is a sickly cartoonist who his sister Shelley Long creates a New Zealand heartthrob character for him.
I thought that was all implied by what I said.
Sure.
Dan.
You know what? It was perfect the first time. I'm
When he first
sorry.
appears on screen, he looks like he has been made up for a test audition for a Ziggy movie.
Yeah, thumbs up. It's a great movie.
Yeah, check it out, I guess.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out, yeah.
Go visit your local library.
Yeah. Don't take our word for it.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey. So, one of the most prominent features of Cool as Ice is Vanilla Ice's jacket, which, in addition to saying down by law, also has the words deep, danger, lust, and yeah. Which is also a line of dialogue that happens, and then it shows the word yeah on his jacket. So, my question to you, for each of you.
I just want to interrupt. It looked like you had the jacket up. What's the price tag on that bad boy?
I got you. It is.
I think there's some numbers on it too. There's a lot of
there's a
stuff
lot
on that
written on
jacket.
it.
$169. But can you put a price on that?
Hey, all right.
Wait, that's
Fair.
actually
That's fair.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Not bad.
So,
That was back when text
this
was
economy?
king. Yeah.
so my question to you is, if each of you had your own leather jacket with words that are important to you and your personality, what would the words on that jacket be?
Yeah. Oh, hold
Elliot's would have a fucking lot of words.
on. A lot of words. A lot of words.
Sigh,
Lots of
look, Here's the thing.
Butts.
Butts, yeah. Yours would say butts, but on the
There's
sleeve.
a lot of butts.
Yeah.
I mean, like ding dong. I guess.
This is a sad exercise in reducing our lives into a series of dumb catchphrases.
Rah-rah.
Yeah.
I'm a bad little boy.
Bad little boy, yeah.
Bad little boy. Yeah. These are. Oh man.
Yeah, mine would probably have maybe
My
the
fucking tombstone right there.
maybe on the back the whole passage from Hitchhiker's Guide about the whale falling down. That's what I have. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Thank you.
Oh, and on the sleeve, mine would say Deinonychus. Greatest of dinosaurs.
Is that that's your favorite dinosaur?
Of course it is.
Wait,
It's the single greatest
course it
dinosaur.
is.
Of course. Name a better dinosaur. You can't.
I like that.
You're right. Me, a person who doesn't really know a lot about dinosaurs, cannot name
You
it.
don't know a lot about dinosaurs.
You know who you share that with? My children, who have no interest in dinosaurs. Hey,
The youth of today.
They love to go to the Natural History Museum in LA. I go, can we go to the section that's basically the bones of real life dragons? And they go, no, thank you.
They're like, oh wait, hey Daddy, there's a garbage truck outside. Can we look at it?
Oh. Now it's even worse. My older son is like, hey, Daddy, can I just sit and watch football on TV? And I'm like, what happened? What genetic mutation caused this?
You want to see the original football players? The Ankylosaurus had a helmet.
You know, that football helmet looks a lot like a Pachycephalosaurus skull. Let's go down to the museum. That's what I should do. Thank you, Stu. Let me tell you about the original football player.
Jesus. That would be a hard left turn for you to take, I have to say.
That would surprise them. Knowing my stance on God, that would surprise my
in
children.
that particular form. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, pardon me. Sorry.
Sorry.
Take your time. It's fine.
Yeah. You okay?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Emily, last name withheld. So, Elliot, you actually mentioned at the beginning of the show how...
I don't even remember a thing I've said.
No, she's going to recap it for you.
Yeah, no, it's a recap. Don't worry.
Okay, great.
Just like the podcast. You mentioned how Cool as Ice is incredibly similar to True Stories, and I was actually going to work that into my question originally.
Great minds.
I was surprised. I watched them as like a double feature like a couple weeks ago.
You said, I want to see two movies, the only movies made by two musical geniuses.
Well,
equal in every way.
Yeah.
So, like, the funny thing is, like, Movie Madness, the local movie rental place.
Local.
Some genius there must have placed Cool as Ice right next to True Stories, and my partner was like, "Oh, let's pick these up." And so
You are so lucky Deuce Bigelow was not sitting next to either of those.
I was so lucky for that one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, completely different night.
Yes.
So after watching that, I was like, these are the same movie. This is just the same movie. So my question is, if you were to pick a genuinely good movie on like artistic merits that you think this is just bottom line, world-class kind of movie.
Okay.
And then a Flophouse movie that you think is just plot-wise or shot direction, the exact same thing.
Oh, what a great question.
What would it be?
Oh, what a great question.
This is the sort of brilliant question
I'm
that...
gonna cheat like crazy. I'm gonna say Seven Samurai and Rebel Blood Moon team of space heroes or whatever.
That's cheating.
Cheating.
That's cheating. I already forgot most of the title.
I already forgot most of the movies we've covered on the podcast.
That's the real
it's
issue.
It's like a protection that my brain does.
Yeah.
So if like I like a kind of like a team forming type thing, so I'm gonna do Rebel. And a genuinely
Sons of
great
bitches.
movie. Let's see. Now You See Me 2.
Oh, the second one.
Flop house movies. What are? Oh, the Flophouse is a comedy podcast about films that flop either commercially or critically.
Dan,
What?
Just scroll down.
Further down.
Or swipe left. I don't know how the internet works.
List of movies, the Flophouse Wiki. Here we go. Sure, that one. Hallie Hagland, Crimson, everything.
Elliot Kalin Feet? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Rebel Moon. I'm so sorry.
I feel like
this is a good question, but I don't.
That's
I
a good
cannot.
question. I want you to write us in that question so we can answer it
So we can
after
think
taking
about
some
it.
time to think about it.
Please promise us.
That's a great question. Yeah.
You stumped the floppers.
They said it couldn't be done.
Hi, my name is Jemme, last name withheld. Hey. I do not work for the Hollywood Theater. So every time I try to explain the Flophouse to someone, I invariably end up going on, taking a time to talk about Donald Rumsfeld. And
sure.
All right.
Most importantly,
Not the way I thought that sentence was going to end.
Makes sense.
I don't even the top 15 or 20 guesses.
Well, he famously did that sort of type 5 on knowledge theory about the
known unknowns,
exactly.
unknown unknowns,
So
yeah.
known unknown things you know, and
Yeah.
and known unknown things you don't know,
Yeah.
and unknown unknowns things you don't know, and which is even to discuss is just sort of paranoia, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he totally ignores unknown knowns, which is things you know but you don't know you know them. Right,
Mm-hmm.
which if anything is like our biases and preconceptions.
Yeah, assumptions. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he leaves those completely unanalyzed, which I think is
I think I'm
telling
gonna
about
get
Donald
sick.
Rumsfeld.
Yeah, very much so.
Right. Whereas the
Okay, so we should explain. I apologize. It's been an in-joke for me and Stuart all through the tour so far. The moment in that one episode of The Sopranos where the guy his head gets run over by a car and another guy throws up seeing it. So we're just routinely pretending to throw up every now and then.
I just love the one guy who walks up and he's like, oh shit!
The vertigo induced by the question, I guess, is too much.
Okay, but I think I almost understand.
yeah. So I feel like the Flophouse has a similar problem, sort of a missing part of the sort of Punnett square of movies,
Right.
Where you talk about the bad movie, the good bad movie, but then you just cut the entire half into movies you kind of like instead of good movies and bad good movies.
Oh.
Bad good
Like
movies.
bad movies you like, almost.
Well, no.
Or a good a movie, well, I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
that's the question.
You're gonna have to explain it. I thought I had it, but
So the way I
it was,
think about
it was like when you have a plastic bag and it won't open up, and you're like doing this with the top, and you think you've opened it, but you didn't. Yeah.
If I rub it long enough, certainly.
No, you gotta lick your fingers. You lick your fingers, right?
Yeah. No,
You
I don't
lick
my
your
fingers.
fingers?
No, why would you do that?
You monster.
I'm in a store. It's clean, right?
No.
So a good bad movie and a bad movie, they're both bad movies, and usually because they're made in like an incompetent way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the good and bad
Oh,
is
you mean
basically
like
you're
a
subjected
well-made
to whether
bad
you-
movie?
So a
Okay.
good bad movie, so a good movie obviously is a well-made movie that you enjoyed, and a bad
Fugitive,
good
yeah.
movie would be a well-made, competent film that's just not any good.
Yeah. So what, like Babylon, Dan?
You son of a bitch.
Elliot paid him to come up and do this bit.
No, oddly enough, this has come up before. I think people have mentioned this. I don't know if I believe in it. I mean, like, what to me, this is like maybe Oscar bait movies, like movies where it's just like, this is competently made, handsomely mounted. It is not doing anything interesting.
Yes. Or that it, for whatever reason, those things don't gel. They don't get an emotion, the right
But to
emotional response.
me, that's a bad movie. That's the thing. That's the extra leap that my brain makes where I'm like, I reject this category.
Ah, interesting.
What do you think? I've said my piece. Now I force you to say
I
something.
mean, I think I'm pretty clear that I don't like Babylon.
Well,
But
You don't like joy.
At the same time, everyone with the exception of a few people making decisions about what's in the movie is doing good work, I guess. So,
Yep. Stuart?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about the recent rankings of the Warhammer tournament in Las Vegas.
But I think that's an interesting point, Dan. That to subdivide bad in that way maybe is artificial, but I think it's fun.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dan, there's plenty of movies I like that you probably don't like.
I mean, it's just that Cities of Sigmar list that got second place had like 5 steam tanks in it. Like, what the fuck?
I hope your question is about Warhammer. We got to get Stu out of this.
Stuart is
list those rankings.
deep in a W hole.
No.
If only.
So in my house, like relatively recently, we were having a series of
Unfortunate events.
Unfortunate events. We're having a series of discussions about cliffhanger endings and how come some of them.
John Lithgow dies in that, right?
Settled.
No, it's endings because just like Clue, there were 3 endings to Cliffhanger.
And how come some of them feel so satisfying and like anticipatory, and then other times they just fall flat and like end up being kind of disappointing? And we were having trouble pinpointing like what's the line there. So my question to you is, what do you look for in a really successful cliffhanger versus what makes it feel just really unsatisfying?
I think when it comes to cliffhanger endings especially, but endings in general, what makes an ending work is not necessarily what's in the ending, but what leads up to that ending. Like an ending to a movie to me is like a joke where the punchline doesn't work if the setup doesn't work. Like the setup needs to give you everything you need for the punchline. And there's a lot of movies where the cliffhanger ending is more of a like, didn't see this coming. And it's like, you're right, I didn't see that coming because you didn't set it up right. Like this.
You wanted an ending to this scene, huh? Well, sorry.
Yeah, or like there's one of John Sayles' kind of lesser movies is this movie called Limbo, where there's this mother and daughter and this guy, and they're trapped somewhere, and they blah, blah, blah. But like the important thing is their personal dynamic and whether they're going to be able to figure out how to work together and get along and essentially become a family unit. And a plane is coming, and they don't know if it is the people who are coming to kill them or the people who are coming to rescue them. And the movie ends before the plane gets there. And I remember seeing it and being like, and I remember seeing it with someone, and they were like, what? And I was like, it doesn't matter. The point of the story was their relationship.
It's in the fucking title, dude.
Yeah. Or like The Cutting Edge, for instance, where at the end, spoiler alert, you don't know if they won that competition. It doesn't matter. It's about whether they came together as a team. So like those work for me, but there are times when the cliffhanger is more like, there's other times where it's like setting you up for the sequel, which we're not making. I'm so sorry. You're never going to find out why Peach needed Mario and Luigi to come back at the end of the old Mario Brothers.
Yeah. I think I made a similar statement on a recent episode where it's just like, if it's an emotionally satisfying arc, if the characters have reached some sort of conclusion,
yes,
and then there's that plot cliffhanger, that's good. If it just seems like it was like, well, I don't know, we ran out of film somehow, even though this wasn't shot in sequence, like that's a bad way of doing
well,
a cliffhanger.
It's like the ending of the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, where they were like, this is gonna really blow some minds.
What? It's like, what?
What? Hold on. Ape Lincoln?
I guess that sounds like Abe.
It does. I like it when it's like, you find out the guest who's been a bad guy the whole time, and you think he's dead, but he comes back, and you're like, oh, wow, the guest's still there. And Mike Monroe's like, what the fuck? And that's the end of the movie. It's
thumbs up.
Yeah. So Stuart approves of any cliffhanger ending that is the guest.
Can't argue with that. Thank you so much.
We hope that was helpful. We're settling arguments tonight.
Evening, Peaches.
Hey. Hello.
Good evening.
My name is Chris, last name withheld. For us longtime listeners of the podcast, you guys have been going for over a decade now, so congratulations to that.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
I know.
Yes, we are quite old. Thank you.
Now, as real people, we get to see you grow and have this kind of parasocial relationship with you folks. Like author, Beefcake, Dan's happy now. We're all happy about that.
That's good.
Wow.
I mean,
harsh.
Do a fucking spin,
it is a personal
cutie.
triumph.
So, unlike real people, characters don't really grow in the same ways through the decades. So, what's a character that you've kind of engaged with throughout your life that has changed to become either better or worse as the interpretations went on?
Ooh. Dan, you can do Sherlock Holmes. It's fine.
Well, you know what? No, it's interesting because like that was the first thing that came to mind was like a Sherlock Holmes, but like a derivative of like the TV show House was a wonderful show for a few seasons. And the problem with it was...
He's a man, not a house?
Yeah, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit.
Thank you.
I was... because
when is he going to turn into a house?
You hear the name and you're like, how'd a house get a medical degree?
No, the requirements of that type of show, they're like, you know what? We're going to pretend like there's going to be character growth, but there's not. And
welcome to television, Dan.
Which is what, like, you know, I would have loved that show if it was like 5 seasons. It's like, you know what? By the end of the season, this show, maybe he's not going to be a great guy, but there's going to be some growth.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I haven't read a lot of the later Sherlock Holmes stories because they get weird. People like he's like looking. He's trying to find some vampires, maybe like something that could be a vampire. It's not really, you know. Anyway, it gets.
Didn't Alan Moore write one
he's
where he's
got
having
some
sex
bees.
with Dorothy from Oz or something?
That makes sense.
I don't know. I just, you know, I like to think that, you know, he found some peace towards the end of his life. You know, he learned how to integrate the emotions and the intellect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like to think that Alan Moore found some peace.
I hope Alan Moore
started combing his beard.
Yeah. Took off a ring. I'm gonna say, so there's a couple of characters I've spent my life with at this point. One of them is Spider-Man. Had his ups and downs, but he's not he is essentially perfect from the get-go. And you could read him, that first kind of like 40 some odd issues of that book or whatever, you can read as him growing up and maturing, and everything since then is just cycle. So instead, I'm gonna say Wolverine, who, when I started reading comics, was still a berserker, and I've seen him grow and mature to become an elder statesman in a way that feels very organic and real to that character, where he's still fighting the darkness within, but he's no longer the guy who like just kills, and Storm is like, whoa, Logan, how could you do such a thing? Instead, he's like, oh, I guess I gotta take care of these kids now, you know.
Do it more Canadian.
That is pretty adorable.
Oh, I gotta take care of these kids, eh? You know, I'm the best there is at what I do. What I do, and very nice.
Yeah. Well, Shotgun is Molson by Snicked.
Yeah, Snicked, eh?
Yeah, Snicked, eh?
I mean, I can't follow that. I mean,
yeah, sure.
I could talk about like this D&D character I played for a really long time.
You grew up with him?
He grew in a lot of really cool ways and got levels and stuff. Nah, it's fine.
Aw. Look at how bashful he is.
No, it's fine. It's
right.
cool. Don't worry. It's just D&D.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I don't think we're in any danger of it, but I'm going to ask that no one join the line so we can allow everyone out in time to pee.
If you're on the line, your question will be answered. If you're not on the line, take it to your grave.
Amanda, I might have mildly misunderstood the prompt because both of my observations are about the movie.
Sure.
That's fine.
Please bring us back to some sort of structure.
You were surprised as person after person asked things that were completely unrelated to the show? Yeah.
Not surprised, but just, am I still welcome? And obviously, yes.
Okay. There'll be an exit interview. We'll talk to you about your expectations.
So the first one is very short. No one said her name was Kat. No one asked her to be called Kat, but he starts calling her Kat and expects her to respond to it, which is red flag number one, if you ask me. It's like,
You're saying he may not be a good boyfriend.
That's not my name.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true,
Totally
yeah.
correct.
But it's like he's murdering her identity by calling her Kat.
Yeah, it's like, no. I chose her, and this is her new name. Number two, does anyone here take care of fish? Because that fucking fish bowl, freshwater fish, saltwater fish, they're all dead. No filter.
No filter at all.
Every fish in that bowl, because you did briefly mention the fish bowl, because the ring, they broke to that fish bowl. So many shots of that fucking fish bowl.
I guess that's
Those fish are
technically a question.
dead.
Stuart, we're solving a decades-old crime against these fish.
How
This is
She did technically ask if anyone had a fish.
I think we've cracked the cold case of those dead fish. They were killed by the cast and crew of Cool as Ice.
No, that does suck. I mean, you're not wrong.
As someone who recently had to bury a crayfish, it's sad news, everybody. The crayfish I mentioned earlier on the podcast died a natural death. Is now buried in our yard with a tombstone.
Then you climbed onto that grave and fucked the shit out of it.
No, no.
Saltburn.
No. Dan was Stu was hiding behind Dan. I'm just saying that. But no, yeah, you do. It takes a lot of work to keep an aquatic creature alive. Yeah, so yeah.
Please.
If anyone has a gill man at home.
Hello, Savage first name withheld. I work in industrial embroidery, and that's when I listen to your podcast. So I'm around a lot of hats, and this.
Keep talking.
And this movie has a lot of hats in it.
Yep.
And that's all I want to talk about.
Yep.
Can I get your guys' opinions on good messages to put on hats and wear?
Good messages.
Ooh, good messages put on a hat.
Wear me on hat.
Wear on the hat or wear
on the head on the hat.
Okay.
Yeah. Not where to wear the hat.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Like positive messages for the youth, or
Yes.
I mean, if you, I would like to put like a message on like pork pie hats and trilbies. It's like, if you are a man below the age of 60, don't wear me, please.
That's a lot of message.
That's a lot of mess. That is true.
But it will save so many lives.
It's a conversation starter, I guess.
I guess so. I think there's a lot of negativity in the world, so I think I just want a cap that says "good work" that I can wear. Just people look at it, they know I
So you
support
just
them.
want to be what's his face from 30 Rock?
Yeah, Judah Freelander?
Judah
Yeah, sure,
Freelander.
yeah. No, but his hats would be like #1 champ. I want to tell other people they're doing
Okay.
great. Yeah.
I would love to shout out my brother who is 6 feet tall, and he made me make him a hat that says "Big Man."
Oh, that's
Love
good.
it.
It's pretty cool.
I think you can pull it off.
Alternately, on days when I'm feeling a little sassy, the hat has nothing on the front, but on the back it says, "My eyes are up front." That'll teach them.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hello.
So we know from watching Cool as Ice that the people that funded Cool as Ice.
We know this.
we know this because
First
we watched
principles.
it. Because we watched it, but we know that they said script, competent editing. They're like, no, we got Vanilla
Yeah,
Ice.
we got
We got
number
the
one
Ice
star.
Ice. We
got
don't
the
need any
Iceman.
of that
well, not
stuff.
the Iceman, Bobby Drake, but you know,
yeah.
the Iceman from Top Gun. Well, not that Iceman. It's just
So these type of vanity projects, I think we used to see more in the past. But I was kind of wondering, is there a pop culture figure today that would be oblivious enough to make Cool as Ice?
Pitbull.
Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah, I think you got it in one.
Mr. fucking Worldwide.
Aces.
Now,
feel
what
like
would
he's
the
kinda-
Mr. Worldwide movie be, though?
I mean, I assume he's saving an orphanage somewhere.
There's probably a girl in a motorcycle, involved in it.
I mean, to be honest, you just put him in front of a green screen and insert him into Cool as Ice. It's the same movie, you know.
I mean,
Wear sunglasses the whole time.
I do like Timber, though. I gotta say, you add Kesha to the mix.
Look, you can be a joke and make a catchy song,
Yeah.
and you can be a joke and be a true artist. Just ask Marcel Duchamp, artistic prankster.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the question.
Baffling us. Yes.
I want to first thank you for mentioning David Lynch, because I could only watch this movie and think about how Vanilla Ice was some sort of deranged Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But my question is, for me, the crossover event of the century as a Jeopardy fan was when Elliot Kalin was on Jeopardy.
Oh, thank you.
In the last couple of years. So I want to
Yes,
ask
I
you.
got second place. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you guys, if you guys were competing, the three of you on Jeopardy, what would be your dream categories in order to defeat each other?
I'd probably say check new wave movies.
Hold on.
You're straight.
Wait.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Hold on. What? But
It's a buzzer game, Elliot. It's not.
That's why I came in second place. It's a buzzer game. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'd say Warhammer. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Good fucking luck. What? Yeah, well, what next? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters? You're dead, dude.
Actually, I think mine would just be like unexpected filmographies, because no matter what movie it is, I'm like, well, gotta look at IMDb and be like, oh, I'm mildly interested in the fact that the same person did these two things. Like it's weird. Like I work, or I did at least, but I hope to again. I work in the entertainment industry. The idea that
kind of entertainment.
Somewhat.
The idea
It's informational.
that one person would do two different types of things shouldn't amaze me, because I'm like, that's how money is made. But like, I'm still like fascinated. I'm like, oh, Ted Kotcheff, he made Wake in Fright. He also made Weekend at Bernie's. That's
wow,
wild.
a double threat.
They're not that different. I mean, you'd also do really well with a category called like porn-pourri or portables or...
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, Dan's like, Misty Monday movies?
Great, thank you. All right, next question. Let's try to do these quick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're running late, and everyone needs their sleep. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, quick question. If you could recommend a superhero for Portland, Oregon, what would it be?
Ooh.
Wait, are we creating a new one whole cloth, or
Good
are
question.
we recommending an existing superhero?
I was gonna say whichever one you want, but I wanted to be brief because Elliot said to be brief.
A stern taskmaster.
Yeah. Turn it back on him. I love it.
Yeah. If it's a pre-existing hero, there's a Marvel character named D-Man. He is a former professional wrestler. He thinks he is Captain America's best friend. And Captain America tolerates him. He's a very sweet man. I think he'd make a great hero for Portland. It's a smaller scale city. He's a smaller scale hero. The D stands for demolition, but it could stand for something Portland related that starts with D.
Not to play too much into my persona, but I am aware that Portland has a very high concentration of strip clubs per capita.
And yet when I said you'd do well in the porn-free category, you took offense.
Only because it suggests that I'm the only person on stage who might have sexual interest. Anyway, I know that there's like a lot of strip clubs, more hipstery strip clubs, things like strip karaoke. I would have like sort of a Banshee style superhero who sings, who has the power of singing, but only while stripping.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know. Portland's a pretty cool city. You're gonna need a cool superhero. I'm gonna say, Grifter, that guy with two guns and a mask.
Yeah, the Grifter of the Wildcats, sure, yeah.
That guy's cool as hell, dude.
The mask that just flaps unattached to the bottom of his face.
Kind of looks like a beard.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So enjoy Portland's new super team of D-Man, Grifter, and the stripping songstress.
They, them. So the 2013 The Big Wedding and the French language original 2006, have any of you seen both or either? If not, I have a backup question.
Have what?
The
Big Wedding?
I haven't seen it. I apologize.
2006 is The Big Wedding.
No.
Sorry, 2013 is The Big Wedding. 2006 is Mon
not.
Frère Sa Mariée.
No, I haven't seen them.
Okay, backup question.
Question B, please.
Most Portland movie not shot in Portland, most not Portland movie shot in Portland. Did I say that right? Most Portland movie not shot in Portland. Most
I'm gonna
not
choose
Portland movie
one
shot in
or
Portland.
the other.
Thank you.
Okay.
What is?
I just want to apologize that
Portland.
the last couple questions have assumed a lot of knowledge
What are-
about Portland on my part. I've been here a couple times. It's a great city. I really like being here.
Here,
But
what do
I
I
don't
know?
know it super
What do I
well.
know about Portland? There's
City of Roses. Name of the Rose? Is
I
that?
presume-
Wait.
Are there any medieval monasteries in Portland?
There's.
Wait, is Pig in Portland or is that Seattle?
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
I did it.
You did it. Stuart got it. Stuart got it. I'm so glad you thought about it. I'm like, Escape from Newport? Is that?
Yes, sir. You have the last one. You get to close us out.
No pressure. Okay, so you meet a cinephile genie.
I love
lets
it.
You do what?
I do.
One
Finally.
wish. You can't do world peace or any of that lame stuff. You can get one movie made with no restrictions, no budget, cast. What do you wish for?
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know. Guillermo del Toro's At the Mountains of Madness. Boom. I'm done. Boom. I'm out.
Wow.
You did it. Does it have to be a movie that was gonna? Well, he's gone. We'll never know.
It's like Kaiser Soze.
I mean, the selfish thing would be like a movie that I want to make, but
Yeah. I have a great screenplay. If anyone is interested.
yeah, I've got one too.
I'm partway through.
It's about this guy named Dan, and everybody thinks he's cool and funny.
He's kind of cool, but
he's super cool, and his lame-o friends are always making fun of him. But then he has to save them from an international drug cartel.
They're crying the whole time.
I mean, honestly, the problem with this is like I'm trying to think of like books or whatever. Like I don't want to adapt them though, because like anything that I truly love, I'm like, well, it exists in the form that I love it in already. Like
That's
I
true.
don't need to see it as a movie. I have already enjoyed it. You
That
know?
being said, let's see.
Wait, The Hunger Games?
Yeah, do The Hunger Games.
Have they done The Hunger Games?
Yeah, they done that. Is that a movie
Is that
yet?
a thing
There have been not great versions of this. I'd love to see a great adaptation of The Man Who Was Thursday by G.K. Chesterton, which is it is a 100-year-old book that is half the book is chase sequence. And every time they think they've caught the bad guy's like, I'm not the bad guy. You got to keep going. So it's a super fun book.
I would. I would write a Uncle Scrooge adventure. Like a true globe-trotting, like in the mode of the Tintin movie that Spielberg made. That would be a lot of fun.
Live action, voiced by Chris Pratt.
No.
Wait,
No.
it's live action, but it's voiced by Chris Pratt?
Yeah, and his body is by Chris Pratt. You just put a duck bill on Chris Pratt.
I guess technically every Chris Pratt role is voiced by Chris Pratt. That's true.
Can't argue with that. Hey, everyone, thank you.
Thank you so much. You're a great audience.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so kind to us.
And patient.
We will try to be out there for a while by the merch. We have to fly very early, so who knows how long a while is, but thank you so much for being here. For the Flophouse, I've been Dan McCoy.
I'm Stuart Wellington.
I'm Elliot Kalin. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Portland. Thank you to the Aladdin Theater. Thank
You know...
Wait. Don't let Ellie get a microphone.
Oh, God.
Too late.
He's all jacked up on sugar.
Yeah.
I had half a soda, and I'm ready to do this show.
Hello.
Yeah.
Wow, this is nice. I was standing backstage thinking how objectively strange this is. That people care to come see us do this thing.
No. You got to have a position of strength.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're gonna love it.
Oh, what a great crowd tonight. Great crowd. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Dan, this crowd is so hot tonight, I don't think we have to do a show. They can just cheer for 2 straight hours.
Maximum Fun.
A worker-owned network
Of artist-owned shows.
supported
Directly
by you.